single? And he was like, yeah. And I was, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God. But the way I showed it, I was just like, okay, cool, whatever, cool. The date auction came into the conversation.
So, do you want to be in the date auction? And I was like, sure. So when Swallow brought me up, finally, that's when.
I've never seen paddles fly so quickly in my life.
And I was kind of panicking. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of panicking.
In my mind, I'm like, Jesus, if this is your will, I know I'm gonna win. So we're going on our date, and then dum.
Yeah.
You wanna pick this up?
Yeah. There's really not much left to say.
So we'll just call it what it is.
#Grace. Listen, y'all, just simply put, I got hospitalized. And, yeah, man, just the state of affairs of just my mental health was just, yeah, it was bad. One thing I could say about just that whole experience was that it really showed me where I was just as a person, as an individual. It kind of brought out, you know, brokenness that I guess I buried, that I never dealt with. And I was in a space where, you know, I became so confused that I didn't know what I wanted. And so, yeah, simply put, I just said, you know what, Flea, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then I decided to just focus on, I guess, the things that were definitely more secure, like getting back into school and just trying to wrap up my last semester and things. Even with like OTR, like I didn't plan on doing much of anything this year with OTR. You know, being in the hospital, like in New Year's when everybody's bringing in the New Year's. Like my year, 2019 didn't start for me until February. That's when I really start counting the years, because you know, the whole month of January was, you know, from surgery to recovery, and it was just dark. And so for me mentally, I was just so affected that, you know, I tapped out. So yeah, and we'll probably, no, we definitely got to go into detail on that probably in another video, because there was just so much that happened. And, you know, this whole grace movement, like, you know, this is, like, I really, really saw God in a different light just throughout that whole experience. So fast forward into, shout out to
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Vablo.
That's
my bro. That's my best friend. I to T.
Yes.
Inform to Transform. I'm gonna place the website.
Whole Surge team.
Yeah, everybody, we love y'all. We went on a reveal retreat, and that's when.
But even before that, so I was not trying to go on this retreat.
Hey,
I was not, because during the whole period of like January to when this retreat happened, I didn't like him. Like, let's just be real. I did not like him. And we will go into detail another time. But during that time, it was a very tough time for me as well, mentally, spiritually, even emotionally, absolutely. But that retreat, I was not trying to go because I knew he would be there. And because I did not like him, I was like, I don't want to be around him.
I like you too, shoot. My face.
So, Daniel, just being the amazing guy that he is and just allowing the Holy Spirit to use him, he kind of forced me to go. He was even like, I will pay your way. Like, just come. But me, I was just like, nope, I'm not going to. My pride was getting in the way. I was just like, I'm not going to do it. So then, even after he said that he would like pay my way and all of that, I was still like, no. But then a random person on Instagram, they DM'd me about something. Again, we'll get into this later. But it was just crazy, because this is someone that does not know my story, someone that does not know what I'm going through, that does not know what we're going through, whatever. And she's told me something. And she said that she was led by the Holy Spirit to just reach out to me and just say certain things. And I was like, okay, God, maybe you do want me to go to this retreat. So I buckled down. And what's funny is that I was already booked. I'm a makeup artist, right? So I had a wedding that weekend. So I was already booked, but I was like, you know what? I'll still come in the day after they began. I think I came in that Friday night. And and I drove there. It was in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So on my way there, I'm just like, okay, you're gonna see Toby, but don't be mean. Don't be mean at all. Just I guess you can have conversation with him. And I knew he was gonna want to talk to me, because we haven't seen each other. We haven't spoken in months. So I'm just like, okay, he's definitely going to want to speak to me. So just be prepared for that, but don't take it as anything else. Just talk to him as a friend, catch up, and that's it. So then I get there, and I got there really late after they'd had dinner and everyone was just like lounging and everything. And then I sat down and I began talking to his brother. I love his brother, Tosin.
What's up, bro?
Hi, bro.
What's up?
So Tosin and I began speaking like we always do, just catching up and everything. And then here comes this guy. And he kind of just fell into our conversation. And sooner or later, then we began talking. Tosin kind of went off, did his own thing. And then we started talking. And this is like from 10 p.m. or something. Mm-hmm. And we didn't go to bed until like maybe 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. Just talking, just catching up. And in my mind, I'm still like, you know what? I know what happened a couple months prior. So I was just like, you know what? Don't think too deep. Mm-hmm. You're just catching up with an old friend. Mm-hmm. That's all. This is nothing. So then we went to bed after that. And then the next day, what happened the next day? Was that the brunch?
It was the brunch.
It was the brunch. So we're all seated at the table and everyone is choosing their seats and this guy sits next to me. I'm like, out of all the seats,
that was the only seat available.
No, it wasn't.
No, because now you can see. Okay, cool.
No, it wasn't.
You know what? I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm gonna let you have that one.
Okay, maybe the Holy Spirit saw.
No. I'm gonna let you have that one.
He sat right next to me. I'm like,
just like this. I sat on this side of you.
Yes, he did. He sat right here, right next to me. So I'm just like, I know this dude is not trying to get back into my life. I was like, he's not gonna.
There was nobody trying to get back into
It's not gonna be that easy. But he sat right next to me, and then even after that, we went. Things happened or whatever, and then at the end of the night, we wanted. Everyone wanted to play. What game was it again? Mafia. But I was really tired because I had a wedding before that. I drove all the way there, and then we were in sessions like hour after hour. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to bed. And then I hear, flee. I'm like, who's that? And then I open the door and it's him. He's like, we about to get into some game or whatever. I just want you to come up or whatever. Like, you should be a part of it. I'm like, this dude is really trying to get into my life. Like, what? Like, that's... Okay, this hold on. So this is what I'm thinking.
Okay, cool.
This is my perspective. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just like, okay, he made his way to find... he came downstairs just to let me know, like, they're about to play a game that I should come upstairs. So I was like, okay, maybe he wants just me to be around or whatever. So then all of that happened. And then I guess you can pick up wherever you want to now.
Yeah, after you done make me look like a sucker. Like while we were out there at the retreat, it wasn't really there was really nothing to it. It was just cool to just catch up with an old friend. Mm-hmm. Being that I know we kind of had like an ugly fallout. Well, it wasn't. I made it ugly, and so just being able to catch up and just see how life has been since we kind of left things just where they were. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just that weekend it was just not for me. Like from my perspective, it wasn't actually trying to get back into your life. At least, not immediately. Mm-hmm. Even at the retreat, it wasn't really a thought, but. What happened though is that after the retreat, we actually were speaking every single day, just texting. I don't really know if we were like on FaceTime like that.
No, because I was not gonna let you FaceTime.
Right. So it was just like really,
I was bitter. I was.
Yeah. So it was just like a lot of texting every single day. That was a very, very interesting point of the year though for me because, like a lot happened. Like. Right before the retreat, I had submitted my thesis, mm-hmm. The actual draft. No, it was the actual thing. Sorry, because we went on a retreat April 27th. Yeah. And the thesis was due April 22nd. And I remember like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, but NYU was on some, if your thesis doesn't get pre-approved for defense, then we see you next semester. Mm-hmm. And so even though we submitted our thesis, everybody was still on the edge of their seats because everybody was still waiting to get pre-approved. So even though the thesis was submitted, until you're pre-approved, you're not going nowhere. Mm-hmm. So we went on a Reveal retreat, and then after we got off the Reveal retreat, I found out that my thesis was pre-approved, so I had to start preparing for my defense, but then I ended up back in the hospital because I had another case of a bowel obstruction or whatever the case is. Was in the hospital for like another 2 days, got out the hospital and, you know, just started putting my defense together. And we're talking throughout this entire period, you know. So next thing I know is the day of my defense, my thesis defense is approaching. And I actually invite her, like, if you want to come, like, show love and support, you can come. Knowing Flea, the awesome person that she is, she pulls up on me. She showed up, showed love, supported me. I remember even after that, she took me to work. It's like, yo, that's kind of crazy, you know? And then I remember just for her supporting me and showing love and, you know, just really coming out and going out her way to just look out. I was like, you know, we should go out, you know, I'll take you out, whatever, just to show my appreciation or whatever the case was. And then things kind of got real again. Things kind of got real because things got real because at this point,
I'm laughing.
Why you laughing?
No, I'm gonna tell him.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Now, could you tell me first? Because I don't like how they be finding stuff out the same time I'm finding stuff out.
No, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, even though I was trying to take her out, whatever, I'll be honest, like, mentally, I was still in a place where it's just like, there was just still confusion, and I still didn't know what I wanted or what I was doing. So for me, it wasn't really like I couldn't really define it. I couldn't really give it a title or name. Or I couldn't really even give you an intent. It was just, I appreciate you for coming out to help me out and, you know, supporting me for my thesis defense. So let me just take you out. Tell them why you laughing, because you got me wondering, like, what the hell I do?
I'm sorry, baby.
Yeah.
But this is where things started to get interesting to me, because it's like, okay, we went through this already. When we first started dating, we was talking every day. He would invite me out, all of these things, and then he just told me, okay, I don't think we should continue. So I was like, that's not about to happen again. That is not about to happen again. I was like, yeah, I'll be there for you as a friend and everything like that. We can talk, haha, hee, chit chat a little bit every now and then. But then when he invited me out, I was like, okay, no. What exactly are you doing? What exactly is happening between us right now? So I had to ask him. And we didn't even go out. But I told him, I was like, okay, what's up? I was like, you're not about to play me for the second time. No, then I'm going to be the fool. So I was like, yeah, what's up? And then he was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I'm not going to hold you. She said, what's up? And I straight up said, like, I don't know. Like, and I was being honest, because one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear if it's not my truth, because then if I do that, it makes me a liar. And when things hit the fan, then it just really, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still want to be an individual of integrity and have character, you know what I'm saying? Like a solid character. And so I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just so I can, you know, get or pass an agenda or something. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so, you know, when she asked me, like, yo, what are we doing? I said, I didn't know. Because I didn't. I really didn't know. But
you didn't see me. I just gave him the boot. Like, okay, what did I do?
That's it.
I said, okay, you don't know. Bye.
Yeah. So that's literally what happened. And I mean, we'll really go into the details of this, probably, like I said, in another video, because there's so much that you can actually learn from just what we experienced and how God worked and moved in the whole situation. But just after that night, I was challenged. I was challenged. And I remember that night I had an encounter. It was like, you know, there are times when it's like you really go looking for these spiritual encounters, especially when you're pressed and it's like, God, we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that night I was in the presence of God for like 4 or 5 hours, and the Lord began to speak to me and just reveal himself to me through scripture. You know, I heard his voice and I was just there, and the Lord was just doing the work on my heart. And just long story short, you know, God practically told me that, you know, my healing was available if I wanted it. And, you know, for me, I was walking around with all this brokenness, not really dealing with the core issues. And God told me that, hey, even if you pass up on Flea and this doesn't work out, when you arrive at the next destination, you're only going to go as far as your last defeat. And so even if it wasn't me and Flea, whoever the next person may have been, I would have ended up at the same place, where it's like you have an individual who's broken and who can't get past a certain point because there's some things that need to be mended, right? And so yeah, that happened, and thank God, because through the course of that night, just a lot took place. That the next day, you hit me up.
Yeah. So prior to that, after the retreat, Toby, he was the one that was always reaching out to me. I was not contacting him at all. But of course, with that, I had to go to God in prayer. I was like, okay, God, you know what happened before. What's happening now? So God told me, he said, just embrace this new friendship. So in my mind, I'm like, new friendship. What do you mean new friendship? So I was like, no, I'm not going to question God. I'm going to just take it as that. I'm going to embrace this new friendship. That's why I was able to, speak to him every day after the retreat, even though I did feel a way about how we ended and everything. But because God said that, I was like, okay, cool. So then, fast forwarding to when he asked me out, and then he told me he didn't know what he wanted from us. And I was like, okay, bye. I'm not going to deal with this. The next day came, and I had an event that I had to attend or whatever, and he knew about it as well. And when I was leaving that event, God just threw it back in my mind. Like, he reminded me, he said, embrace this new friendship. Even though in my mind, I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to him no more. He's like, again, he's not going to play me for a second time. So I was like, no. But then God was like, what did I say? Embrace this new friendship. So I actually texted him. Mm-hmm. I texted him. And I forgot what I did. I think I said hey buddy, or I sent an emoji. I don't know. But I just reached out to him. Mm-hmm. And then he said oh, can I call you? And I was like, oh, here we go. So he FaceTimed me and... Yeah,
I FaceTimed her and I basically told her, hey, yo, Flea, listen up. I'm all in. Let's do this, baby. We out. That was pretty much it.
It wasn't like that.
No. Yeah. That's how I remember. That's how I saw it after it happened. It didn't go down like that, but that's how I saw it. Yeah, thank God for grace. I just practically shared my experience the night before. I said, after we got off the phone last night, I was really challenged because it got to a point where enough was enough, and it was like, I'm not trying to be out here in this limbo, not really knowing what's going on with me, and not really, knowing that there's something wrong, and there's, things that has to be fixed spiritually, and just leaving it and just being out here trying I can't be functional if I'm broken. You know what I'm saying? And so that night I chose to deal with whatever was going on. And I'm just so grateful that, I experienced God in such a crazy, crazy way that it actually gave me the confidence to just go after her. Stop tripping, And I had already got a confirming word concerning you and I prior to that. And so it was just this can work as long as I want it to. You know what I'm saying? It's mine for the taking. Mm-hmm. And so, when I shared that with her, she received it, but with some skepticism, of course. And then I remember that night we met up. And again, we just all throughout that, I don't know, these late night hour deep heart to hearts, we had one of those. And I was just able to open up and just really share everything that I was going through, everything that I was experiencing, why I made some of the decisions that I made and all of that, and just really open up about it because, until then, I actually never spoke to anybody about, what I was going through and what I was doing. And even you encouraged me to, talk to somebody or whatever. I just kept everything bottled up. The only person who kind of knew was my brother Tosin. Tosin was the only person who I would really talk to because he was always there. Mm-hmm. But even if Tosin wasn't around, I just keep it in. I just never really spoke about some of these things that I was experiencing, just the torment, the and just all of that. Mm-hmm. But we spoke about it that night, and from that night on, I believe we were proceeding, but we were proceeding with caution. Mm-hmm. Proceeding with caution. I mean, I was all in. I was I'm throwing my whole self at this thing. I got nothing else to lose. If it doesn't work out, at least I know that I threw my whole self at it, and it's I gave it everything I got. She was proceeding with caution, which rightfully she should have, because the way things happened prior to that moment, it's okay, yeah, like you said, I'm not about to have him play me again. So, yeah, as you rightfully should have. Okay, June 8th. Again, we're in rehearsal again. That weekend was a crazy weekend, actually. I remember I had work. when I got off of work, I met with my brother Tosin. We drove out to the Poconos that night because our youth was having a retreat. I remember we got there midnight. I had to get up early in the morning to get my ministration. I got up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I was ministering that morning at like, I think my session that morning was at like 9 a.m. or something like that. So I remember I got up, got myself together, then did that administration. And after that, when it was like 12 noon, I got back on the road and drove back to New York because we had a rehearsal for Surge.
The next day.
The next day. So I was out in PA. I was out there for only like 12 hours and came back, right? And then we all came to rehearsal. I was late to rehearsal.
No, I was late.
You was late too. I was late to rehearsal, but she still showed up after I did.
Sorry, Joe.
Right. And so after rehearsal, I told her, like, we going, because that night we came together to do like our priority list.
A vision board.
The vision board and priority list. And so I said, and it was just one of those things where it's like, we got OTR movement, we got Lip Lash Beauty, there's Lip Lash Cosmetics, FFF, stay tuned. It's a little, that's a little plug. We're gonna put y'all on later. But yeah, so we just wanted to kind of just, just lay things out, plan. So in my mind, I had already made up my mind that I was going to ask this girl out.
I had no clue.
To make it official. Yeah, of course.
I knew it was coming, but I just didn't know when.
Right. So ideally, the day that I was gonna do originally was the day that she also speculated it was gonna happen, which was
June 29th.
Right. For all you who just with the movement, y'all know that was the day that we had the
day party.
The day party.
And the worship session.
Yeah, the OTR day party and the OTR worship
session. Check out for the next one.
Yeah, coming soon. Soon. But that was the day that I was actually gonna, pop the question and just like, yo, what's up? Are we trying to take this to the next level? Are you trying to be exclusive? Like, what's good? But for me, I didn't want to wait. Like, I knew I was ready. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And, just taking that step, I was showing her that, no, this is not just, let's see where this goes anymore. This is, I'm in this for the long run. I'm in this till marriage, till death do us part type situation. Even though we're not there yet, but it's like, that's my mentality now. Like, I'm locked into this thing. I'm not, walking on eggshells, or I'm not treading lightly or not. Like, no, you're going to get me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm throwing my whole self at this thing. So that night, I decided to ask her out. And how I did it, fellas, take notes. So earlier that week, I had went, and I actually purchased a promise ring. And basically the promise ring was just to signify that, I'm here for the long haul, and I promise to love you the way Jesus is teaching me to love you. And to make sure that in all things I keep you priority, and that we stay focused and we keep Christ at the center, so that way we can continue to grow together and achieve all the goals and fulfill all the promises that God has in store for us. And so that's really what the promise ring signifies. And so that night, do you want to get into how everything went that night?
I guess.
Okay.
So I have a board in my studio that it has different messages on it. So whenever people come, like my clients or even him, when they come, there's always a greeting message there. So I always come up with like different sayings, like, oh, good vibes only, or welcome, just anything, right? So, and I always have one in my mind. But that night, like, I just couldn't think of anything. I knew he was coming, and I know he likes it too when he sees it. So I was like, okay, I gotta think of something.
The bill is always on point, always.
And like, I changed it at least 5 times, no lie. And then I was like, okay, God, that's another thing. I always go to God for everything. So I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to put in? So God said appointed time. I was like, okay. In my mind, I'm just like, okay, he and I met back in 2010, and here we are now. So I'm like, okay, maybe this was just his appointed time. I didn't think anything to it, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, he's going to ask me June 29th. I was sold on that. I was like, he's going to ask me June 29th. So I was just like, whatever. So I had it up, appointed time. And then he came and he looked at the bill and he was like super excited about it. I was like, dude,
oh, that's very appropriate. That's what I said. I said, oh, that's very appropriate. Yeah, and that was that. I knew I came in here with a whole agenda,
And I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, appointed time. Because he always likes it. So I didn't think anything to it. And so then we had our like vision board party, just because the Bible says write it down, make it plain. So we just like, okay, we wanted to write down our goals and everything like that, our priorities, just get everything in order so that we don't get too, I guess, entangled with each other, that we forget about our own individual goals, right? So that was just our agenda for that night. So then at the end of the night, he said, let's hear a song. I'm just like, okay, maybe he just wants to end it in prayer and we just hear the song and then we go home, whatever. So then we played the song and...
you remember the song?
I remember the lyrics. I don't remember the title. You know I'm not good with titles.
Yeah. So it was it Drop in the Ocean by Ron Paul?
Yes. So we played that and even before that, he prayed. We closed out our Vision Board party. He prayed and then we started listening to that and then I don't know, I was just feeling real girly and gushy and I was like, wow, like
she was in her feelings. Flee, do you love me?
A little bit.
Okay, cool.
So I was just like, wow, like I can't believe we're here. Like that was just what was going through my mind. I'm like, wow, like who would have known from 2010 we would be here 2019. 2019.
Yeah.
And we're here and I was just letting all my feelings out and everything like that. And then he started. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like it's I guess it's just what it is. I'm letting my feelings out. Of course he's gonna do the same.
Yeah, there's something that you said.
So then what?
You said, I pray to God that I'll be the answer to your prayer.
Yes. Oh, man. That was a prayer that I actually prayed when he and I started.
Again?
No. I actually prayed this prayer the first time we started dating.
Okay.
Like way before our break. I asked God that I would be the answer to his prayers. And that's actually a prayer point that my sister gave me. She said, just pray to God that you will be the answer to his prayer. And then I said that to him that night. And then
I ran with it and I said, yep, this is the time, appointed time. I said, see the bill. I said, you making a statement like that?
Why you trying to sound all...
No, that's because that's what it was. Like I said, I came here with an agenda. So what I did at that moment, I said, oh, okay, cool. So what I did was I remember I leaned over the couch, dug into my bag.
No. You started speaking and then you were like, and to show you how serious I am.
Right. I was just like, oh, yeah, because I remember I responded to what you said about being the answer to my prayer. And then, and I said, I can't remember what I said verbatim, but it was like a little bit of sweet talk. Just a little bit, I had to put the sauce on her a little bit. And then after that, I leaned over the couch into my bag and I pulled out a promise ring. Basically I said, to show you how serious I am, I'm going to give you this promise ring. And I told her that what the promise ring was signifying, that, I'm here for the long haul and that, I'm going to stay here and we're just going to tough it out. And no matter what, whether good or bad or whatever the case may be, like, I'm going to love you the way Jesus is teaching me to love you. And I'm going to look forward to growing with you, have a family with you, have a future with you, live life with you, do life with you. And so pretty much I presented her the promise ring and asked her if she'd be my lady. And she said,
yes.
She said, yeah. She said, yeah. I said, say the tears.
I almost cried. Almost.
I said, save them because you're going to need them.
Because I wasn't sure. I was like, when he said to show you how serious I am, he turned around. I was like, this guy does not have a ring. I was like, I know he ain't got a ring. And then he pulled out a ring box, and I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, now let me ask you, because, like I said, we about to find out. Did you think I was actually going to propose to you?
No.
Okay.
I knew he wasn't going to propose.
Okay.
Because that's what yeah, but I knew he wasn't going to propose. But I was like, I know he doesn't have a ring. And then he pulled out a ring box, and I was like, whoa, what is happening right now? But then, and then that happened, and we're here now. And our story is really just a testament of God's grace.
Yep.
Like, we will go deeper into everything that's happened from then until now. It's been a lot. Even from back in 2010, we'll go back to like how just during that time, we can see how God was working on us as individuals before he actually brought us together. And I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Like I said, we don't have all the answers. We just want to share our story, hopefully encourage you guys to just wait on God and just trust him and just know that he's already written your story and everything is going to come to pass the way that he sees fit.
Absolutely.
And God wants everything good for us. So just hold on and just wait.
Yeah. And there you have it. That has been how Tobe and Flea met.
Yeah.
All 6 parts of it.
Like I said, we're going to get deeper into it. It's a lot. It's a lot. But we hope you were blessed.
Yeah. Praise God.
Until next time.
This has been another meeting with Tobe and
Please.
all right, signing out.
Love you guys.